Do you ever wonder how you would do as a certified relationship coach? Do you think you have what it takes to make your own marriage shiny, amazing, and wonderful, and help other women fix their marriages too? Well, today, my guest, Catherine, reveals the 4 steps that she took to relationship coach certification and what she knows now about being a coach and an expert on the 6 intimacy skills who helps women fix their marriages that she wishes she knew then. I'm Laura Doyle, New York Times bestselling author, and I was the perfect wife. But then I got married. This is the Empowered Wife Podcast. Catherine, welcome to the Empowered Wife Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so excited to hear about the 4 steps that you took to relationship coach certification. So great to have you here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share.
Well, take us to the beginning. What happened to what was the first step of becoming a certified relationship coach?
Yeah, well, it was absolutely searching for answers to the pain I was experiencing in my own marriage. And we had three children. Our third child was a newborn, and I really got to this point of just this deep knowing that I couldn't keep going the way that things were going, that this was going to be a train wreck, and I had to do something. I had to find the answers, and I was searching and searching and searching, and I read so many books, and um, even enrolled in other courses, like trying to find the answer and trying to find what would help. And as so many women that find you experience a lot of the things that you find first don't help, and can even harm. And yeah, so it was that experience of just searching. I could see looking around me that the experience of having strain in your marriage after children was common. So I really wanted to help others as well as myself. But I could also see that it wasn't universal, that there were people who were thriving. And so I knew it was possible. And I was like, I've got to find out how this is possible because I don't want to be a disaster. And there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. And I really did think there's got to be a way that I can fix my husband. That's really what my focus was on. And then I finally heard your voice one day and found you. So definitely the first step was searching for answers and trying to find that path, trying to find the thing that would actually help, that would actually work. And I can remember where I was standing when I heard you interviewed actually on a podcast, and you just spoke exactly my experience of what had happened, like the distance, the coldness, the fighting, the just the exhaustion of, yeah, trying to make it work and all of the things. It was the first time I'd heard anyone say all of the things I was doing and the impact that it was having. And it was like, oh my gosh, what a light bulb moment. So, yeah, it was finding you and then reading your book. And because I'd read so much and searched for so long, I just could see the collective wisdom in your skills and the steps and the cheat phrases. And I just realized straight away that you had figured it out, that this was a formula that women of any background or situation or circumstance or personality, married to any type of man, could follow and create intimacy and bring healing. So I was just so excited, like that I found you. I literally was doing a happy dance. I'd been looking for you for so long, for so long. So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
it was.
sorry it took me so long to send up a signal that, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you sooner. But What a great moment that and I have to ask too, like, were you already thinking I want to be a certified relationship coach? Like in your searching, were you just searching for something to fix your marriage? Or were you kind of already, did you already have a mindset of like, I want to that fix my marriage and all marriages? Like,
Yeah, I was like kind of unique, I think, in that way. I have heard it from other coaches too, but yeah, I really felt this um, desire, this knowing that I'd had a professional career up to that point that I was working hard to try to maintain while having kids, and I said to my husband one day, like I just can't keep giving this much of my life energy to something that doesn't have a deep level of fulfillment. I think there's something else I'm meant to be doing. And the pain was so great in our family, but my passion to find the answers was also equally big. So I really did want to become a coach and help and serve women who were in the same experience that I was in because yeah, really very passionate about family life and about children growing up in a safe and warm, connected home. And it was just devastating that with all of that passion, I couldn't make it happen. It was excruciating. So I was
gosh.
definitely the first client for sure.
Yeah. Well, and so one thing I love about your story too is that because you were saying it was like it couldn't go on like this. This is about to be a train wreck. And at the same time, you're like, I'm gonna fix other people's marriages too. Like I'll start with this one and then other people as well. Like you always had that vision, even though you couldn't find the answer for yourself yet. I mean, I just think that's extraordinary. But anyway, so I just wanted to hear more about that because it does seem like that passion was always in you, a big passion for family life and providing a safe, wonderful home for your children has always been in you. So, all right. Okay, so we find each other and then you start, well, what happens then?
Yes. Well, I was actually already enrolled in another course, and I was like, this is not the answer. This is all of this psychoanalysis that I could see, like maybe my husband could endure, but this is not, this is not the thing. And I was also looking at my friends' marriages who I admire and thinking, they would never have these level, like these state of the unions. It was just perpetual state of the unions as you talk about them. These long, drawn out conversations about what makes you this way and why do you do this and what are our attachment styles and all the things. Like, ugh, it was. I just knew this is not the answer. This is not the the path. And so I was just overjoyed to withdraw um, from that course, and I listened to your masterclass, and the cost of the training matched what I was willing to already invest to the dollar. And I was walking through the street and like jumping for joy. There's a lot of me jumping for joy when I first found you. And because I was like, come on, please be the same. Because it was really, what I'd already um,
Uh,
gotten
budgeted.
to the point of I could invest. I'm sure I would have stretched. I can see that now. I was a bit limited in how I thought then. Um, and yeah, dived in. And I had already like obviously read your book and I started to practice the skills. And I tell a bit more of that story in a previous podcast episode. But like the first moment was me running downstairs to my husband Len and saying like, I just found this book and it has everything that is like that you're meant to do or and not do, and I've done everything. And he's like, have you done everything right or everything wrong? Like, I've done everything wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm like, every single thing, I've done everything wrong. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear
He didn't say, "Oh no, honey, you have." No, that's not true. He said, "Oh,
this.
thank you." He was
Yeah.
relieved.
Oh my gosh, thank God. Ah, thank goodness. And yeah, so then this journey began and I started practicing the skills, really trying each one, saying whatever you think to my husband. Like it was such a different dance. And I thought, okay, I got immediate, you know, energy shift. I could feel like, okay, this is really going to work. And I rolled and I started doing coach training and I kind of thought, okay, I got this. Let's learn how to coach. And then when I got into coach training, it was like, I have not got this. This is deep. This is really deep work. Like the skills, like learning the skills deeply, week after week, immersed with other women who are equally committed and vulnerable and sharing our experience and building those friendships and connections. It just took everything to such a deep level. It was like a real unraveling and becoming a new version of me in a really safe, nurturing place. Like that's where I learned how to cry freely without feeling all like choked up and like I couldn't speak and I would stop previously. Like when emotion came up, that would be like, okay, stop
Oh,
and pull away. Like I was blocking my own vulnerability and that was blocking the level of intimacy that I could experience in any relationship I had in my marriage, in friendships, anywhere. And it was relationship coach certification that was the place where I learned how to develop that way of being, which has just opened up a whole deeper level of just living with, being connected to my feelings and able to express them freely and on my paper. And yeah, it was this really, really deep, deep immersion. And when I was practicing the skills, like the conflict was going down when I was practicing them on my own, the fights were lessening, the
hmm.
frequency, like my smile was coming back little by little, like things were radically better, but through the process of coach certification and taking the skills deeply it, with other women, it was transformed. And by the end of that experience, I can remember I went, we went away. My husband took us away, which was completely not how it had ever been. It was always me planning the holidays and trying to get blood out of a stone of like, can you take time off work? And him like reluctantly coming along and often bringing work. And it'd be riddled with conflict because we had all this time together as a family.
Oh,
It's not fun. There were so many mistakes in his parenting, and I was always just triggered the whole time, not not relaxing for anyone. And this time away at a familiar beach destination was just completely different. And just there was lots of challenging situations, but I was different. I can remember um like my husband lost one of our kids at night in the dark, and it was one of our kids with special needs. It was really a scary experience. He had a big reaction to it because it's a scary experience. And I just remember like being in that, state of obviously your nervous system gets triggered. It's huge bait, like, but
yes.
the skills just weren't going out the window. They were part of me. They were I was there, able to be gracious, able to be dignified, able to stand for my husband's greatness and just give him the space to have his reaction and not even feel tempted to intervene and protect my son. Like I knew he's going to be okay. He's okay. We're all okay. This is part of life. This is just part of our life experience right now. And and it made so much difference to the emotional safety between the two of us because the next morning, after letting my husband just have his big reaction and be frustrated and angry and upset, and not have it cost him any intimacy with me or any respect from me. Like my eyes were warm. I still smiled at him. We went to bed together. There was no disconnection. It was so liberating. Like before the skills, I would have been absolutely riddled with fear and worry and criticism and just like telling him like you can't do this, like this is not okay, being the expert.
What were you
And
thinking?
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was so freeing to just be so far from that. Like it's like I could never have imagined that I'd be able to experience an event like that with such a level of dignity and grace and just trust and faith. Like this is all okay. This is all okay. And the next morning, my husband gathered everyone into the lounge room, all of our kids, for the first of our family meetings, which he calls when he's got things to share and leading the family. Like it's a whole new phenomenon for us. And he like brought our son, who was like 4 years old, I think, at the time, and like put his arms on his shoulders and looked eye to eye at him, like eyeballing him and saying, like, how I spoke to you last night was not okay. And I'm never, ever doing that again. I'm never going to do that again. It wasn't your fault. And
Oh,
I was like, unbelievable. I still get teary when I share. Like, it was so unbelievable watching him transform and like grow through his experience. And I would have robbed him of that. I would have, without these skills and without the depth of immersion that I had in relationship coach certification. And yeah, since then, oh my goodness, there's just been our family life is unrecognizable to what it was before the skills, and it gets deeper and better every year. But I know, I just know that it was being in that vulnerable, connected experience week after week, having coaching myself every single week, sometimes multiple times a week for months and months. And it's like enough time to change every cell in my body and to put me together in a different way as my best. And the level of support, like feeling like everyone's around me and I'm going to be able to share this incredible moment and be celebrated and uplifted. And yeah, it was amazing. Learning the skills was definitely the the next step of actually really transforming my marriage in a way that was way beyond what I had set out to try to create. It was way beyond what I thought I was going to do.
I mean, if you'd known every cell of your body was going to be transformed, I mean, so you were surprised at the level of transformation that was in coach training. Would you even have signed up had you known that it was going to be that transforming?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like and I would have paid 10 times over. And Len and I, like Len will say, like, this is the best investment we've ever made for our family. Like it's such like the return is it's it's unquantifiable, the return. And yeah, it's I would definitely have signed up.
Okay.
It's it's hard to articulate though, right? It's hard to even fathom. You've got to go on the journey. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the journey continues way past certification. That's the wonder of it all, that it's never ending. And I can remember calling a friend after I my first week in coach certification, and I said, I think I just paid this money to have a great marriage for my whole life. Like I'm going to have this group of women around me and coaches around me, like forever. I realized, like, oh, that's what I've purchased. It's not about, like, being a coach is like in addition to, but this is like, I just felt like I paid a deposit on a lifetime of happiness, of being able to be successful in my relationships. I mean, what else is there? What else is there?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I feel so much joy just listening to you talk about the experience and the especially when I hear about how painful it was, how passionate you were to provide this kind of family life, and then you found where you could get this training and then you realized you had lifetime access to it. So it was always going to be. So there's like a level of confidence that you gained also that you were always going to be able to provide this level of, oh gosh, it's yeah, it's well beyond intimacy, right? There's like emotional safety at your house. There's uh home court advantage for those kids. There's yeah, and there's fun. There's trips and yeah, your husband taking you out and planning things for you. So yeah, it sounds very joyful. So this was like so step one was really finding those skills, finding that book, realizing there was a way. And then step two was deciding to join relationship coach certification and then realizing you had this lifetime access and having this incredible transformation yourself and becoming so vulnerable yourself.
Mm,
Um, what would you say? I mean, so let's talk about some of the things that you learned in coach training too, like about being a coach, right? Because so far we're really kind of just, it's just really about Catherine and Len so far and their kids, right? This is just, there's no other marriages getting saved yet or anything like that, right? So it's just, this is all just the benefits to you and your
yeah,
family. But
yeah,
let's talk about step three, like the methodology and some of the other things that you learned in coaching.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, absolutely. The first two steps is about finding the answer and learning the skills and creating the transformation in my own experience and my own home and family. And at the same time, I was learning to become a coach and standing for other women. And in the beginning, I was learning as I went, but it was safe. It was safe to try and experiment and get it wrong and get it right and just find my own way. And learning the 5 point coaching methodology that you teach was amazing. And it's there's nothing like it. There's nothing else like it. I have other friends who are coaches, and I've had exposure to other styles and forms of coaching. And just there's something really special about the way that you teach it, and all of the coaches in your coaching body practice coaching, that providing a safe space and really making that the most sacred thing. And like, I've watched some painful experience of elsewhere of like someone being vulnerable and then getting pummeled with what they need to do and all of these harsh questions, and I can just watch them like feeling bruised or wanting to close up, really wanting to wish they weren't there. And it's so hard to watch it. And I'm so, so grateful that I've been empowered with a methodology that is so safe and so serving of other women becoming the expert in their own marriage. And that was the gift that I received in, getting to that point of being able to endure, a stressful or painful experience and feeling like Yoda or something. Like, I just have these skills. I just know what to say next. I know what to do. I'm not thinking, I need to call my coach. Like I certainly was in the beginning. That's part of the journey. But like I know that it's the methodology, the coaching methodology over time that creates that level of confidence and really becoming my own expert, like deeply knowing what I need next. And I always need coaching. I always receive coaching. But I just think there's something so clever and special about the 5 point coaching methodology that you teach, that I learned. And I really did start to, I mean, I've taken my coaching to the next level since certifying, and I'll share more about that. But it's incredible to feel like I can meet any woman in any situation, in any circumstance, and and not be afraid and not and be able to provide a safe space and know that we can find the path out and be able to stand for her. And it's just so, yeah, it just brings this level of confidence of like there's this very tried and tested formula that feels great to receive as a client. It feels like every coaching session is like a warm hug, or I know one of the coaches talks about it as like a spa treatment for your brain. It's like you never leave coaching feeling like, oh, I wish I hadn't opened up. I wish, you just feel safe, and that's gold. That's golden to be able to have that level of confidence going into wanting to be a coach. That wow, I can stand for any woman in any circumstance and be unafraid and really warm and empathetic and trust her and watch that trust transform her as she learns the skills in her own life and experiments. It's so joyful. It's the best job in the world, Laura, being a coach. I love it so much.
I love that. No, so you can kind of bring up a question for me. Like, what about like a, I don't think there was ever an affair in your relationship, in your marriage, right? So you haven't had that particular, you haven't been through that particular hell. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what if a woman, you know, had that, she was in the middle of that. She was in the middle of that kind of a breakdown, and you haven't been through that. And yet it sounds like you feel like you could support her. You could coach her
Yeah.
on an affair. Is that
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I haven't been through that kind of hell. And I get inspired by my clients all the time. And most of the time they're enduring experiences I've never experienced. And some of my experiences they've not had, but we can always connect on our experience as women, the emotional experience of fear, of doubt, or I mean, these are just universals, and that's the beautiful thing about these skills and the 5 point coaching methodology. It's yeah, anyone can coach anyone, and yeah, I did have that fear for sure when I first was an early coach and first certified. And yeah, I've often thought of you of like, hey, Laura coaches moms, she coaches women who are experiencing yeah, horrible experiences that you've not had, that I've not had, and you're incredibly powerful. And yeah, and it's amazing to watch the journey of women and especially being connected to the campus and watching the collective, like the connection framework that you prioritize is so clever because I first did start out life as an independent coach and have moved to being a campus coach. And I just think the connection framework of being women being around other women, like on a call, any group call that you offer that I have the privilege of leading or being on, there is always another woman listening to her own story being told by someone else. And like there's nothing like it. It's so amazing to witness. And yeah, that is my experience of like personally and also as a coach watching clients, including my own clients, witness the stories of other women, their courage, their vulnerability, their breakthroughs. And it's like a leapfrogging. Like I can come alongside you. I don't have to suffer and figure it all out on my own. It's like this leapfrogging. Like that's my experience too. She just spoke to me and I can make that leap and I can be changed by the coaching I just heard or even just the insight, the win that I just heard or the takeaway that I just heard. Like there's that I just treasure that yeah, as a collective, there's there's someone who's had the same experience.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I'll ever get over that, the power of that or the comfort of that collective experience. It's and once now that we have it, I just don't know how we'd ever live without it. So I have this experience of feeling like I didn't realize how much I needed it until, and now that I have it all the time, right? Now I'm aware of how precious it is to me now, but before I don't think I realized that that was something that I needed on an ongoing basis. But I love the way you describe it, how yeah, how nourishing it is, how electric it is. Yeah, so I love that.
Mm.
So yeah, so you sat for certification and you became an independent coach and but you kind of continued your journey. You mentioned that you're now a campus coach. Can you fill us in on some of that? That's like step four, it sounds like, of yeah,
Yeah.
becoming yes. So how did this all happen?
Yeah. So I learned to become a coach and practiced that and practiced it and practiced it and then became certified and was like, oh my gosh, I'm a certified coach. Wow. And that is the
Do your
beautiful thing
do
that
your
there's
cap and
always
gown in the air or
yeah,
do your hat in the air, right? Okay. Like, yay, I graduated. Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely joy and excitement. And then also like, oh, am I all out on my own now? And like, fortunately, no is the answer. Like there's this incredible um, community and support, and you can just continue to hone and practice your coaching forever. It's amazing. And I, yeah, I was an independent coach for about oh, 18 months or 2 years. It must have been about 2 years. But I had um, Len and I experienced a much deeper level of healing than I even shared in that last episode. And um, we ended up having another baby together, which was like a mind-blowing experience because I was so done after our third. I'm embarrassed to admit that I like got rid of all the baby things without even talking to Len, like just in a fit of like Yeah, I do not have enough support. You are not, this is not,
There's no way. There's
no
no way.
way. I am done. And I even said, like, this shop is closed. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, oh, so bad. I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and after after coach certification, yeah, we had another baby. And so it was such a joyful experience and so different to being postpartum any other time. Like my fourth experience of having a fourth baby was like so much nicer than any of the other. I mean, obviously, I loved having all of my children. They're
Sure.
always special moments, but I can remember my family coming to visit after the baby was born and they saw the before picture and they were like, what is going on? Like all the children are just like calm and happy and everyone's so connected. And it was like, yeah, this is a dream. Like I'm walking in a dream. And I can remember a friend coming over to see the baby and Len popped in and he was working from home at the time and she turned and said, he is on fire. I've never seen him so happy. He's like bouncing off the wall. It's like that is not what men usually look like when they've got a new baby at home. And it's like, yeah, we're so happy. We're just so happy. And yeah, just
So
mind blowing.
everyone that knew you was saying, "What happened to you guys? Like this is
Yes.
not the same picture that you had before." Wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was really magic. And yes, and there's been so many amazing things. But yeah, so I was able to scale my coaching to the stage of life that I was at.
Yeah, which is
And
four kids and a newborn. One's a newborn. So
yes,
there's just not much spare time in a day. There can't be, right? Like,
yeah, well, it's funny though. If you have desires, somehow the universe rearranges itself. And yeah, and I was also really I can remember like because I had been also working in my professional job while I'd been doing the certification and certifying, and it was all part time. Very, very lucky in that respect. And I remember going for maternity leave and walking away from that big, tall building in the city, like casting this huge shadow and walking down and just being so clear that this is the last time I'm walking out of this building. And I'm walking towards my future. I really felt like I'm going to make this my my career, my future. I'm letting all of that go, and this is my new job, career, passion, life. And yeah, so I was really, really wanting to use the time and energy that I had to create something for myself. And I started to, because I had learned how to be vulnerable. And one of the really big things I learned from coach training was how to share my story vulnerably and getting practice at doing that so that I wasn't having heart palpitations and feeling exposed and like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think? Just getting so comfortable. I can't believe how comfortable I am now to just share openly and freely and vulnerably. Um, and that experience, learning that, it really served me so well. I was able to share with women, share on podcasts or give talks, free talks, and share online. And people found me, people reached out who resonated with my story. and like little anecdotes of walking through the house and or cleaning the kitchen and slamming cupboards because you're there on your own and you're wanting someone to come and help you, and or just the frustrations of family life and a strained marriage. It resonates with so many people, and my inbox just started to get filled with women saying, I heard your story and I'm in the same place, and I can we talk? And so I started to gather clients that I just adored because they were me. They were me. And also passionate about their kids and family, and figuring like, how do I do this? This is so hard. And yeah, so that was just really joyful. I ran an Empowered Wife workshop, which is an opportunity to teach the skills. I had people reaching out asking for that, and also private coaching. And that's when I realized, like, oh, I really want to be the best coach that I can be. And I'd heard that there was an opportunity to work closely with Master Coach Kathy Murray. And as soon as I'd heard about it, I was like, um, tagged that of like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait till I really need to do that, or like, why am I waiting? This is me like all of a sudden discovering like, oh, desires, like why sit on them? And so instead of like having that as my recourse when I needed support, or if something didn't, work out, or I had a bad experience, I was like, actually, I just really want to be the best coach can possibly be. The stakes are too high with these beautiful clients. I want to do the best job I can possibly do. I want to be the best coach I can be. I want this to be what I do. And
And
so I
these
reached
marriages are
out.
on the line. These
Yeah.
families, the whole family
Yeah.
is on the line. It's
Yes.
it's up to you in a way to be the coach that can guide them to the kind of marriage you have now. So,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, you're feeling the
Yeah.
weight of it,
Absolutely.
and that
Yeah.
spurred you forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And now, and you gave up the professional career. I mean, I know you had invested in training in that as well, and you had however many years of experience and uh some prestige. Was there was there I mean, that must have been a little bit of a, like, I'm giving this up, right? Like, some terror must have come up at that point.
Absolutely. Oh, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Big time. Yeah, that was, yeah, an experience. Because it was also, I just noticed myself like, at a barbecue or, a function, like, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
And initially I would find myself saying, like, looking and seeing, like, well, these are all in consulting or in banking. And like, okay, I'm on maternity leave from
Yeah.
professional job working in, this sector and
Tall
in
building that casts a
business.
shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can wear a suit and I'm important too.
Yeah, I'm important too. Okay. I'm educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then as I got more courageous, especially when I became so invested and confident in myself as a coach, it's like now I get to, like, just on the weekend, somebody who's, a CEO of like amazing company. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a relationship coach and I love sharing about it now, and like watching people's heads explode and like, yeah, it's amazing. So that all grew
Yeah.
from
True.
that faith
Yeah.
over fear. But I for sure felt like, what am I doing? I've worked, 15 years. I studied, I did master's level study.
Oh.
I've got all these contacts. It's all, and I
Oh.
had I had job offers coming. I was like, oh my gosh. And, people reaching out saying, I'll give you anything. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is so much bait for me. Um, to, yeah, it was a big test of faith over fear. And, having my marriage as my safe place, like my husband is such a source of strength and support for me. Like at every time when I got afraid, and sometimes that would come out sideways, and I get like fear of financial insecurity or like leaving all of these conditions and these incredible conditions and incredible security that I've worked really hard for, and I knew that we'd always relied on as a family.
Benefits. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, every time I can remember sitting with him, we were out for a walk and I had got some coaching. And so I was present to that fear of like that I was having this temptation to get all controlling about the finances and just be in fear. And I'd had some coaching and I was really clear that I wanted to share from my own paper and just share like I'm frightened and I'm scared I'm going to have to go back to that job and um that at some point you're going to need me to go back to that job or that the family will need me to. And um it's causing me, yeah, I'm frightened of letting it go. And he just put his arms around me and he said, I'm never going to ask you to do that. This is what you're meant to be doing. And he will hold that vision for me, even if I get scared. Like he is the biggest believer in this work because he's experienced it himself. He's like the biggest beneficiary, and he, but he will do anything. He will do anything to help another father, I think, to come out of that pain of, yeah. I mean, he came and spoke at the Cherish for Life weekend that we had here in Australia, and just spoke from the stage just so vulnerably about his experience of what it had been like in the bad days. And it was so moving to hear from I mean, he has shared with me, but he shared in a different way up there. And we were both just in tears. And just that he used to walk at night through the streets, just wondering who's going to be the first to call the divorce lawyers. And I can't get this right. Like, I can't win here. This is, no matter how hard I try, it was really painful for him. And I had no idea how much pain he was in. And so he's just such a source of strength and support. And he has my back. And he really believes in me. And it just feels amazing to have that level of support and love. And he's got me. Um, he's providing for me. And I've invested in next level coaching, which is this incredible experience to get. Oh, my mascara is running.
Mine too.
To
Mine too.
get any tissues.
This is how we are around here. Yeah.
Yeah, weepy. Um, yeah, I've just had this incredible experience of, yeah. So I felt the weight of responsibility and really wanted to become the best coach that I could be, and expressed that desire to Kathy, and it's just been this magic carpet ride of as much training and feedback and support and stand for me that I can handle, that I can stand. It's as good as I can stand, however much I can stand. And I've been doing that for over 2 years, and it's transformed me as a coach. been able to have the privilege of coaching real clients that have reached out to you and in any circumstance and to be able to stand for them and get incredible feedback, always bringing me to a deeper level or to the next to the next level. And it's been an investment. It's really been a big investment. And anytime I've gotten wobbly of like, oh, I think that might be enough now, like, oh, I can't invest anymore. And said he always says, like, what do you want? Do you want to keep
Oh,
going?
oh,
And yes, and he will prioritize it over so many other things. And it's amazing. He believes in me so much. And yeah, I can't express my gratitude for him enough, which is all because of these skills. So it all comes back around. It's my greatest source
yeah.
of
No, I love it. I mean, that story just is so moving because here you were giving up the big job with all the money and the benefits and the everything, the security, and saying, and I want to invest some more. There wasn't, I know I made this big investment in relationship coach certification, but now I also want to go to next level coaching every month. And for him, it's non-negotiable that you should get what you want from in this. So lots of money's leaving, right? And he's having you spend more. He's supporting you spending more. So I can imagine the level of vulnerability and the deserving that you had to probably wrestle with a little bit, especially feeling that fear that you would have to go back and him saying, "Oh, absolutely not, never."
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it is so much about deserving. And there's money coming in for sure. And it's all unfolding beautifully and all in a way that really supports my home life and my kids and Len and our marriage. And so it is all unfolding beautifully. But yeah, you're exactly right about feeling deserving and I stumble sometimes. I can remember, oh, I think I was we were driving home, I think, from the obstetrician because Len came to every single obstetric appointment that we had with our fourth baby. And he wasn't there for most of the other ones. I mean,
You're
for the
kidding.
first one, he was there a few times, but this he was there for every single appointment. It was like he was just by my side the whole time. And we were driving home from that appointment, and I was a little, maybe in a little bit of needless emotional turmoil or fear. And I was thinking, I'd been looking at my investments and everything that I'd accumulated up to this point, and I was sharing, okay, I'm going to get it to this level. I really want to be able to make a contribution to our to our family. And he put his hand on my knee and he said, "You are making an
Oh,
immeasurable contribution to our family. Like, just that's enough." And he's looking at my big pregnant belly, and I'm just like a weepy mess again. It's like it's so easy for me to um, go into that masculine way of, I've got to
yeah. Yeah.
contribute and the financial contribution is all that matters, or is the most important thing. And it's like, just stop thinking like that, he says all the time. Like, he wants me as a coach and getting coaching. There was also a time after Celeste was born, our fourth, that I didn't get coaching for a while because life was busy. Um, and then I started getting coaching again, and I said, "Oh, I feel so good." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm so happy." So it's like it just provides so many dividends across every
Oh,
aspect of life.
so sweet. I love it. I love that story. Gosh, you are making an immeasurable contribution to our family. That is a great, wow, what a great. line. What a wonderful sentiment. And I love how you draw the contrast between the masculine ways, like, okay, I'm going to get our retirement up to this certain level or whatever, and him really celebrating that expressly feminine contribution of carrying your fourth child, right? Making a person. And
Yes.
the tendency to dismiss it is it's not just you. I think, I think we do. A lot of us do dismiss that incredible value. So, gosh, I just love that story.
Mm.
Oof, beautiful. So, okay, so now you've been going in next level coaching for a while, for a couple of years. And okay, and you were an independent coach, but now somehow you've become a campus coach. So what
Yes,
the heck
yes.
happened there? How'd that
Yeah,
happen?
what the heck happened? Sorry, I missed that bit. And yeah, so I was an independent coach and I joined Next Level Coaching because I was just so wanting to have it, give it everything, give my clients everything I could give them. And it was amazing being able to bring their challenges and share with Kathy and be edified and supported and inspired. So that was amazing. And then I had the privilege of working alongside Kathy to bring the Cherished for Life weekend to Australia, and that was a big deal. That was a big stretch in terms of I certainly run events before it. That was really fun. But getting up on stage and sharing very vulnerably, and it just felt like the most natural thing in the world. And it was like, oh my gosh, like this feels amazing. It was really so edifying of like just the timing of it too, when I was um, having left the professional job and working as an independent coach and then standing on stage and feeling like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And
Wow. Total
yeah,
clarity,
oh,
total validation.
yeah, it was
Just
amazing.
resonated. It all just made sense. Like, of
Exactly.
course, this is where I was going the whole time. Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a magical experience and it touched the lives of so many women and
Yes.
family.
Yes,
And
it did. Yeah.
mm, it'll stay with me. And yeah, and then I was invited to become a campus coach. I'd always expressed a desire to do that, and I loved being an independent coach too. Um, and yeah, I was invited to join the campus and lead group calls. And it was wow, it was mind blowing. I that was another jumping around, jumping for joy and surprise when that came. And I think through the level of transformation that my coaching had um, experienced through next level coaching, I was definitely a different coach from when I came in. I was
Yeah.
it was a whole like I was an effective coach to begin with. I was having beautiful success with clients, but I was there was challenges for me too, like managing call times and just having that strength and confidence. And it's changed me a lot. It's changed me a lot. And it was incredible to be invited. It was like, wow, this was on my desires list, but I sort of thought, maybe I'm meant to be, maybe it'll never happen. Like, I don't know how this would happen. And then it happened way before I expected it to. And group coaching was something I'd always had as something I'd love to be able to do to get to that point, to get my coaching to the point where I can lead a group call. And wow, that was amazing. And it's just the highlight of my week, being able to lead those calls. I just adore, adore that. And I love growing and stretching and learning. I will always be a student forever. It's just how I am. So yeah, it's been incredible to join the campus. I'm so, so honored to be a part of it. And I just love connecting with the other coaches on the campus. They're all incredible, so experienced, each with their own style and flavor and gifts. And it's like just being with the best of the bunch. It's amazing. And they're incredible independent coaches too, which I also love to hang out with. But I feel really privileged. I really feel privileged to be able to serve as a campus coach. And I love the connection and connecting with them. And as I shared earlier, just the community of being able to coach women who are immersed in the community of women, their level of transformation, the growth, the change is rapid, and it's everything's there that you need for transformation. So I
Wow.
love working as a campus coach.
Yeah, so you lead those groups that have our the ridiculously happy wife. Students are in that group, and also our campus, the ridiculously happy wife diamonds, who are getting private coaching. They come to your groups every week and that's those are the groups that you lead that
Yeah,
that you're
yeah,
enjoying so much. Yeah.
yeah, they're really precious. And yeah, and I've had the privilege of training and doing the like teaching other or standing for other coaches as they learn and train as trainees. I've just started to do that, which is just a dream and a real full circle moment. It's a dream. So I'm so privileged. And
Yeah.
yeah, things are unfolding all the time, and it's just an adventure.
Yeah. So, and I mean, your excitement about it is still evident, still obvious after how many years? How many years has it been since uh you first discovered the skills?
It's been 4 years.
4 years. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, relatively quick, really, to yeah, to go from my marriage can't go on like this to I'm helping women fix their families, and I'm leading these groups, and I'm learning how to stand for other women who are becoming coaches as a coach training. Yeah, in coach training. So just amazing. Yeah, I guess so. I'm just going to recap those 4 steps since we promised. It sounds like you found the skills and you fell in love with them, the 6 intimacy skills, and then you joined relationship coach certification and really just learned. Step 3, I think, is learning the magic of the 5 points coaching methodology, and then sitting for certification. And then you became an independent coach and started to attract your own clients and continued to have further breakthroughs and transformation in your marriage, which I loved hearing about that too. And if people want to hear the beginning of the story, I mean, it's not the beginning, but like the middle of the story, I guess it was episode 69 where you tell your
Mhm.
whole marriage story as well. So I just want people to be able to tune into that. And now here you are, a campus coach, and yeah, standing for other women who are becoming coaches. Um, so it's just been an amazing process. It's been just a delight to watch you grow and thrive and just step into this passion that you once only dreamed about, but also kind of always had a knowing about. It sounds like I'm always fascinated about that part of your story that even when things felt like a mess, there was part of you that said, I know I'm meant to fix this and help fix stand for other women in the world as well. So I want to thank you for clinging to that passion and to your vision and answering the call every time you got it, even though it was terrifying at times.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for leading the way of you talk about that waterfall of fear. And yeah, it keeps coming. It keeps coming and with it, every next step or next opportunity. And if I hadn't had this experience, I think I had spent a lot of my life before finding you kind of going, oh, there's a waterfall there, go the other way, rather than,
Who knows
rather,
what's on the other side, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So it's just, I'm so grateful that I've learned to experience fear and just keep breathing and turn it into excitement and desire and passion and to choose my faith. So yeah, thanks for paving the way. I know, yeah,
yeah.
you're a very courageous woman to have done your.
Ah, thank you. I do get terrified still, absolutely, a lot. But it's so much, there's so much gratification in being terrified together, right? And then cheering each other on to run through that waterfall of fear and get to the other side. So,
Mm.
yeah. So I'm thrilled that we got to do this today, Catherine. Thank you so much for sharing your story of how you arrived at relationship coach certification.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Laura. Always a delight.
Listen and subscribe to the Empowered Wife podcast. On next week's podcast, you will hear the astonishing way that my guest fixed her marriage when she and her husband didn't agree on parenting. You can listen to the entire thing right here next week. And in the meantime, I hope you're having lots of fun. Today's fun fact is that we were talking about how some things are more complicated than they need to be. And I said, like tax returns. And John said, and saran wrap.